Alrighty, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Season 3, Episode 21 of Hit the Books, podcast all about sports betting, the best you should be taking, and everything surrounding sports. We are here for the divisional round matchups in the NFL. 4 games this week for teams battling to get further into these NFL playoffs. I know we're excited. I know we're here. We're ready for it. 2 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. I just got Huff and Mackie with me here this week. Ace taking the week off. He has a game to coach, but let's move forward. Introduce my co-hosts that join me each and every week here for episode 120 of our show. Start off here, Mackie. What do you got here this week? From home, what do you got?
Yeah, we don't really have to recap last week. We can just move on to the next week and not talk about that Cowboys game. But other than that, it's been pretty good. We had a good first round of the wild card. Seen a few upsets. Obviously my Dallas Cowboys go down in terrible fashion. The Eagles go down. Some really good games this week. We saw the Texans win. A lot of people weren't anticipating that. So a lot to recap, a lot going into this divisional round. But yeah, getting ready for another good week of football.
Awesome. Ready for it. We're ready for it here. Huff, let's send it over to you here. What do you got for us here going into this divisional round?
Yeah, not much good. Like Mackie said, but I think there's one win combined between the three of us in wildcard weekend, so an absolutely brutal weekend. I went a little too heavy on my Steelers than I should have. Let the little term gamble responsibly get a little out of hand, putting 3 plays on a 10-point underdog, calling the win. I got a little ahead of myself, thinking they were going into Buffalo's with a different mindset, but nonetheless, different week. I don't love the slate this week. I'll come right out and say it. That might make, you know what I mean? I think last week I said I love it and I went 0-5. So I'll take my chances on not liking it and seeing what I can do here because it can't be worse than 0-5. Especially when there's only 4 games. I might just do one play on each and go 0-4, and it can't be worse than 0-5.
We could go 0-6, but
Good, yeah. I gotta chill with these fucking touchdowns, dude. It's playoffs. Like no one scores touchdowns in the playoffs.
it's all right. You did it once. You learned.
Heck yeah, good stuff, guys, here for the divisional round. I know I'm ready for it. Why don't we jump right in here with the NFL? Little recap here of last week here. It ended up being 2 games on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, 2 on Monday, with the Steelers and Bills game getting pushed due to weather. Starting off on Saturday, we have the Texans taking down the Browns 45-14. For the night game, the Chiefs taking down the Dolphins in good fashion 26-7. Moving over to Sunday, Packers and Cowboys. Cowboys sadly going down 48-32 against those Packers. Rams and Lions. The Lions just barely squeezing out, not covering by a score of 24-23. Monday, Bills, Steelers not able to make the cut here into the divisional round, losing 31-17 and finishing off with the Bucs and Eagles for that Monday Night Football game. 32-9, the Bucs just stomping on those Eagles. Tush push could not make it through here in Tampa Bay. Any thoughts here on the wild card weekend before we move forward into our power rankings and this divisional slate?
I mean, yeah, like I said, Steelers you go down 21-0 in Buffalo. That was never a game. Not many people expected it to be with a 10-point spread to begin with. The one surprising one of the weekend, just the absolute ass kicking that CJ Stroud gave the Browns over in Houston down there. Obviously, the Texans defense comes up with 2 huge pick sixes. Mackie, your Cowboys losing. Obviously, both of our teams losing this week in the wild card round. But it was a good weekend of football. I would have liked a lot of these games to be closer. Obviously, Rams-Lions was the only one-possession game. Dolphins-Chiefs was a dud. Obviously, the weather came into play with that. And then the Eagles on Monday night just capped everything off with kind of another slow game, 32-9. Not much action in this wild card weekend.
Yeah, definitely. You like to see closer games in the playoffs, and you kind of expect it. So when you have a few blowouts like that, it's obviously not the most entertaining aspect of the game, but it is nice to see upsets. Obviously, I didn't like to see it, but the Packers, holy shit, Jordan Love. A lot of problems on that Dallas defense, but he did not give them any. He did not give them any leeway whatsoever. I mean, some of those passes he was making, he was looking like prime Aaron Rodgers in some of those situations, putting up
Dude,
48 points going into Dallas, doing what Dallas does best against Dallas in the playoffs. Hats off to him. That defense played well. Dak struggled a little starting. Couldn't really recover because our defense couldn't get stops. But Packers, I mean, I'm not going to say they're going to go into San Francisco and be able to do anything like that because obviously San Francisco's a different animal and that defense is a different animal. But they are no pushover, and I would not be surprised if they put up a really good fight this week.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Packers, obviously, I think that is the surprise of the weekend. Obviously, the 7.5-point underdog, second biggest spread of the week, winning outright. covering 7.5 by themselves, winning by 2 possessions. Obviously, like you said, the Cowboys started to come back and make it look a little more interesting towards the end, but
It
it was
it was a
28-0, right?
it was a 41-16 game. I'll call that the final score. It actually was 48-32, but
32. Yeah.
it was 41-16, 8 minutes left in the game. That game's over right there.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean that was just it was just disgusting. I mean, the pick six
Well,
kind of
it's 41 minus 16. What is that? 25 or 35? 25.
25.
That
Yeah,
seems like the largest 25-point differential that you can come up
41 to
with.
16. Yeah, it sounds worse than
That
25
sounds
for sure.
so bad. Like, that's still it's just out of a 3-possession game because obviously 3 possessions is 24 points.
Right. Yeah. But what do you think that says more? You think that says more about what Dallas needs to fix or what the Packers have been able to do on
Packers
offense?
they got their guy. That's how I look at it. Like, I truly I think you guys need a new coach. I truly just don't think that Dallas was ready for that game. They it looked like they just kind of weren't in their playoff mode. I mean, they looked like
CeeDee
themselves
Lamb.
of the past 5 years ago. Like, they looked like they totally just had this game. We're looking forward to next weekend. They thought the Eagles were slipping up. Okay, we really just don't got to worry about anything until we play the Niners in the conference championship. And next thing you know, it's 28-0 on your home field. It's like, I don't care how good you are at home, you can't recover from 28-0. Like, the Steelers were in
Especially
Buffalo down 21-0. I was like, this is over.
yeah, exactly. And even like we were the better team, like our defense could not get stopped. Doesn't matter what Dak could do at that point. Scores
Mhm.
27-0. He scored a touchdown to end the half. He got the ball back. They only got 3. And right there, I mean, Jordan Love, I think it took 5 plays the next drive for him to score a touchdown. I was like,
Yeah.
this game is cake. Defense doesn't know what they're doing. Dan Quinn, holy shit. I was a big fan of Dan Quinn. He made 0 adjustments in game. They're playing zone defense the entire game. You're getting torched the entire game. Deron Bland does not know how to play his own defense. Stephon Gilmore needs to go home and sit on the couch. He does not need to play football
Yeah.
anymore. He doesn't
You
even
guys
know what
need
he's doing
Trayvon
out
Diggs
there.
back. Like, he's not the
We
best
need
cover
more
guy.
than
But he
Trayvon
needs-
Diggs. Jordan Lewis, I mean, you have 2 safeties back there. They both drop in. There's a wide open guy down the field. Communicate. Like, know what you're doing out there. Know what your players are doing out there. You know their playbook. Like, you know what you're expecting out of this team. All play action. And both the safeties still bite half the time. They had to have at least 4 deep balls down the field where there was nobody else in the frame.
Yeah, you guys, I definitely think I don't think the offense needs anything. Like, I still think Dak can get it done with a different coach. I just think he needs a little bit better of a defense. I think this Dallas defense, from the teams that you guys were absolutely shit stomping at home, got a little bit inflated with kind of the expectations for that defense. Like, you shut out the Giants week 1. You know, Dallas was the Super Bowl champions after winning 40-0. Then the injuries kind of started to happen. They lost Diggs, like you said. Diggs isn't. You need more than Diggs, but I've been thinking lately the Broncos have been wanting to move on from Justin Simmons. That would be a great guy for you guys to go and get.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna lose Stephon Gilmore this year. I think he's definitely getting out of here.
You don't need him. He's so replaceable.
No,
He's a 4th
terrible.
round. You could replace
He
him
should
with a
not
4th round
even be
pick.
playing. He should not be playing. If you watch that game, he should not be playing in the
Yeah.
NFL. I'd love to get Justin Simmons. What we need, get rid of Mike McCarthy. I'd love to get Mike Vrabel. He will listen to Jerry Jones, and not that I want him to listen to Jerry Jones, but Jerry Jones is going to hire someone that's going to listen to him. He's not going to hire Bill Belichick because they're going to butt heads the entire time.
Yeah.
Go out there, get Mike Vrabel. He can get the job done. Go out there, get a different defensive coordinator, and just stack that secondary. You have to go out there and draft secondary. Micah Parsons also was invisible in that playoff game. He's got to step it up too, but that's not our problem. Our problem is the secondary. Those are just 3 things. The offense scored 32 points. You don't need to go out there and fix that offense. That offense is definitely the best offense in the league.
You
Playing
stick
at their
with Tony
best.
Pollard?
No, we're probably gonna get. I don't know, man. If
I
we
st-
can
I
get Blake
still think-
Corum, if we can
Is
get Blake
he?
Corum,
But, like, you're going to be drafting him in, like, the 1st or 2nd round. Like, I just keep building defense. Like, your guys' offense is good enough to the point where if you have a legit defense, the offense could put up 20 points a game and probably still be in it.
yeah, that defense was definitely overrated this year.
And Bland, when everyone was calling Bland Defensive Player of the Year just because every ball he caught, he went to the house. Like, and then really, you look at the fucking film, he can't cover the.
he
fucking
might
anything.
be he doesn't know how to read a defense. First of all,
No.
he knows how to play football, and that's
He's a
about it.
wide receiver playing backyard football.
Yeah, like he can make big plays. He's athletic, but he's not. He's not an answer. He's a backup. He's only playing because Trayvon Diggs is out.
He's a perfect guy to come in as your 3rd corner because, like, for one play, yeah, he might get that pick 6. You know what I mean? Like, or the pass deflection, like going for a pick. But yeah, he gets torched a lot. By these
Teams
top
took
receivers.
advantage of him. Teams took advantage of him 100%. And props to the Packers. Matt LaFleur, incredible coaching job. definitely made 0 mistakes that game, but we can
I'm
just move.
definitely rooting for the Packers. Packers and Lions are the 2 teams that I'm rooting for right
I
now.
can't root for the Packers just because they took out the
They beat
Cowboys,
you. Yeah.
but, I do like that Packers team.
I just think I love Jordan Love. I really do. I think he's a really good young quarterback. I think he's definitely one of the better guys. Like he slipped through those ranks because he didn't play for all those years behind Rodgers, and then it got kind of ugly with Rodgers on the way out. Love is
He
just
started the
absolutely
year
taking over this team.
he
Dude, they
started the
didn't
year
make the
kinda
playoffs
sloppy
last
too.
year with Rodgers. They got bounced by the Lions, and then Love comes in first year as a starter, beats the Cowboys on the road. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
sick.
huge, huge. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers hates that too.
I don't know. Rodgers does act like he's like still close with him.
He
So like
acts like he wants good for them, but at the end of the day,
I
deep
think
down he
he
doesn't
wants
want he
I think he
wants to
wants
be
the
better.
Packers to lose, but Love to throw for like 6 touchdowns. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I'm sure he does really like Jordan Love and he mentored him and everything. But at the end of the day, you don't want from whoever moved on to you to do better. Like you don't
Oh yeah, no shot, no
deep
shot.
down you don't. Like he could say he's happy for him, he's happy they won and everything, but
Or
like,
Rodgers' defense is, oh, when he wins 4 MVPs, then we can talk in a Super
yeah,
Bowl.
something like that. Yeah,
Is that what he has? 4, 2 back to backs,
I know he has
3 or
3.
4.
I don't know if he has 4
I don't know, somewhere around that. But yeah, enough about the Packers. Enough about the Cowboys. It was a good game. Packers going to San Fran. They got a tough. They're probably the toughest matchup of the weekend this weekend. But
for sure.
yeah,
Lots of good stuff there. Let's jump into these power rankings real quick here. Number 5, the Detroit Lions. Number 4, the Kansas City Chiefs. 3, the Buffalo Bills. 2, the San Francisco 49ers. And number 1, the Baltimore Ravens here with these 8 teams remaining. Is that what it is? Yeah, 8 teams.
yeah,
What are you guys
yeah,
thinking about this?
yeah. Obviously, one of these teams getting bounced this weekend. We have the Bills going up against the Chiefs. The 1 and 2 seeds still waiting on obviously the Packers and the Texans with those 2 situations. But Mackie, Bills, Chiefs. We get the Bills. Obviously, they have home field. Who do you like in this matchup this weekend? We'll kind of allude to it now.
Before I get into it, you see the tweet that I sent that it was like, with the new rule change, they're gonna go to overtime. Buffalo's gonna go down, score a touchdown, and now the Chiefs get the ball. They go down, score a touchdown, kick a 2 or go for the 2 point, get it. Bill's
Win.
season's still over. That would be a kick in the nuts of the century. That would be so funny. But no, I think the Bills.
Yeah, especially because they're the ones that got the rules
Because
changed.
they're the reason the rule got changed because they didn't get the fair chance. Well, now the rule got changed for you. Comes to kick you in the nuts. But
That'd be so funny.
I
That
do
would be
like the
like perfect.
I do like the Bills on their home field. I think they get the job done. The Chiefs, very good game last week. Obviously, all the weather conditions. You're going against the Miami offense playing in -5-degree weather. Defense looked really good. Defense has been their backbone, and we're not used to saying that with the Chiefs because obviously they have Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and that offense has been prolific the last 4 or 5 years. But that defense is definitely the backbone right now. Only gave up 7 points last week. The offense has been struggling of late, definitely to end the season as well. So you're going to see. I think it's going to be more of a defensive game here. The Bills are going to take over. Josh Allen is in takeover mode, 100%. Ever since they were 6-6, 7-6, whatever they were, he's kind of just taking it onto his own hands and hasn't turned the ball over, gotten the job done. He did enough last week. Steelers kind of got back into it. Josh Allen said, "No, never mind. We're definitely running away with this one."
The
I think that
52-yard run was the dagger.
yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about that fake slide too, but yeah, that was definitely the dagger. But
Yeah.
I think they get the job done. I think the Bills. I think this is their year to get to the Super Bowl. I still think that they lose in the Super Bowl, but they're the better team in this game at home. I think they get the job done. What do you think, Huff?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think this is a great spot for Vegas for everyone to buy back into the Chiefs. They just stomped someone in the playoffs. Mahomes' helmet cracks. You know, everyone gets all the cool Mahomes clips of him looking like a badass. His first road playoff game this weekend. I think it's going to be a different atmosphere up there in Buffalo. And then I think it's going to be definitely, obviously, the game of the weekend. Anytime we get Mahomes versus Allen, it feels like this will be the 10th time we've seen them play each other. I know it's not, but this is becoming the new Brady versus Manning kind of matchup that we've watched when we were growing up, and now we get to see Allen versus Mahomes every year. Now this time in Buffalo, I do lean towards the Bills, but once we see the spread, we'll kind of make our plays and all our official picks on that. But yeah, top 5, like you said, only 8 teams left. Next week we're going to be down to 4 and wipe that 5th spot. But yeah, 5 teams left. I still like Detroit there. I think they have a chance to go on a little run here. If the Packers can do some noise to the Niners, that can really shake things up in the NFC.
You said it very good, very well there, Huff. Let's jump into these divisional games starting on Saturday. The Houston Texans, the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. The Ravens are the favorite here, 9.5 points, pretty high spread here for the week, minus 460 on the money line, total at 43.5. Looks like some good odds across the board for anytime touchdown scores, everybody in the positives. What are you thinking here, Mackie? You want to get us started? Ravens and Texans in Baltimore.
Yeah, I like the Texans here. I like them plus the 9. I know it's a public play. My buddy kind of made a good point. He said, they get a bye week and everyone just kind of forgets how good they are, and it is kind of true. I've forgotten how good they are so many times this year. I've faded them so many times this year, and I've gotten killed by it. But I think that this is a good spot for the Texans to go out there and make another name for themselves. I know they already kind of did last week. They already overachieved on the season by making the playoffs this year. They won a playoff game. They tore up that Browns defense. It's a different animal going into M&T Bank Stadium where it's going to be probably 10 degrees out. You got that crowd going, and you're not in your dome down in Houston all comfy. So I think it's definitely going to be a different scenario. You're going to see CJ Stroud struggle a little bit more, but that team's definitely on. I wouldn't say on par, but I think that they can definitely compete with this Ravens team. And we've seen this Ravens team have some down weeks. We saw them lose to the Colts early in the season. They lost to the Steelers in a game where they can just run away at any point. The Steelers has found a way to win that game. We could see some staggered drives here from the Ravens. I think that the Texans keep it close, at least keep it respectable and cover the 9 points. I'm not going to say they're going to win the game because I don't really necessarily believe that, but I think that this is going to be a better game than most people think.
Yeah, I also think this is going to be a pretty good matchup. I know I saw a stat where Lamar Jackson as a favorite of 7.5 or more in his career is 1-8 against the spread. Obviously, this spread opened up at 8, or I think 9 or 8.5. It was somewhere sitting around there. Obviously, going into Baltimore, like you said, a 9.5-point underdog on FanDuel. I lean the Texans to cover this number. It's a low over-under. Lamar Jackson's playoff totals have all gone under. I've seen that stat as well. So another scary one with the over-under at 43.5. I lean on the Texans to keep things close. I might use them as a teaser spot here and try to get them up. I like a couple of the underdogs to try to tease them up this week to a lot of points in a playoff matchup. Hopefully we go back kind of the exact opposite of what we saw last weekend in the wild card weekend, hoping for not as many blowouts of those 2 or 3 possession games. Get the Texans up to 16.5 and with another team, and I think you're pretty safe there.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. A lot of people, I know a lot of people are on that Texans plus 9. It seems like the public play, but I don't know. I think that they can keep this one close. That defense played pretty well last week against Joe Flacco too.
Yeah, they're just like I said, they're the young team that's just kind of scary this year. Like I hate to say they remind me of the Bengals when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, but they like kind of do. Like just that team that no one saw coming. No one was picking the Bengals to go that year. Obviously, this year you're going to see CJ go into Baltimore. I think didn't we already see them play each other this year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, they went into Baltimore, lost like 22 to 9 or something like that. Texans didn't do too well.
Yeah, was that was really early in the season? Wasn't that maybe
I
week
think it
1?
was like week 4 or something like that, or it even could have been week 1. But I mean, CJ Stroud's had a whole season since then. He's a way different.
He's a whole different
football
player. Yeah.
That whole team's got a whole different identity and everything. So you can't even look at that game in my opinion.
Yeah. It's so scary to take that under with Lamar versus CJ Stroud, those high flying offenses that you're going to go up against. I saw a reporter ask Lamar Jackson in his press conference today, "Are you confident in this offense's ability to score more than," I think he said 23, because they kept scoring less than 23 points or so many in their last playoff games. And he goes, "I'm extremely extremely confident." He said it like 10 times, just kept saying it, but. Yeah, I don't know. I definitely could see this get out of hand for Baltimore. I don't know if I have a real true side on the actual set spread of 9.5. Like I said, I either like if you're going to do a money line parlay, I think the Ravens win the game. Or like Mackie said, if you're in a survivor pool, but I definitely lean on getting the Texans a couple more points in a teaser. What's scary is I think it'll be 7-0 Baltimore. So like just wait on the spread.
Yeah, you can probably get it up to like 15.5. To be honest, if they go up 7-0, it'll get up there.
Good stuff there, guys. I've totally forgot to read my trends. The total's gone under in 6 out of Houston's last 7 games on the road against Baltimore, as well as under in 5 out of Houston's last 6 games against Baltimore. Baltimore 5-0 straight up in its last 5 games at home against Houston. So, like you guys said, the spread is the question here. Going to be a good matchup here.
Just 9.5 in the playoffs is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
same thing. Isn't the
divisional
Packers
round too?
Well, we got another one
They're
here.
both 9.5.
Yep, Packers and 49ers here in San Francisco. 9.5 in favor of the 49ers. Minus 450 on the money line. Total 50.5. The total's gone over in 5 out of Green Bay's last 5 games on the road, as well as over in 7 out of Green Bay's last 8 games overall. San Francisco, 19-4 straight up in its last 23 games at home, 7-2 straight up in its last 9 total. What are you guys thinking here for this Saturday night matchup, 8:15 in San Francisco?
Yeah, I'm definitely really back and forth on this one because I do think that Jordan Love's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and he can really dice up a defense. Then again, you look at the San Francisco defense, you look at that ball hawk and Fred Warner. Cowboys didn't have that. They don't have a Fred Warner on their team, and Jordan Love just took advantage of that. He's gonna be looking at a completely different defense here, a more tight defense. I think they're definitely a better defense as well, probably the best defense in the league. Um, I think Jordan Love has a tougher day. It honestly just matters how Brock Purdy plays and that offense plays. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, he's a little banged up, but he's going. Complete game changer. I don't really have a play on the spread. I don't. I think it's going to sit right around there. I think the Niners get the job done. I think the Niners take it all this year. But I can get into that later. But Huff, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. I said last week how much I like that over with the Packers in Dallas. That obviously soared over. I'm gonna go right back to it with Green Bay. Their defense hasn't been able to obviously stop many points. Dallas put up 32 last week at home. I like the Niners to get theirs, but I also think the Packers definitely keep their foot on the gas. I like the over 50.5 in this one.
So you think the Packers can really dice up that
Yeah,
defense a little, kind of expose
yeah,
them?
I definitely their team total is set at 20.5, which is a little scary. I was hoping it was 19 because I like them to put up 20. So, you know what I mean? Get the Niners at 31, 31 to 20, 31 24, 30 24, any of those, you know what I mean? I obviously like if it's 31-24 or anything closer, I kind of lean the Packers to cover the spread, but I like that over 50.5. I think you'll see McCaffrey get in. That place will be going crazy for obviously the Niners Packers. That's a classic playoff matchup. We've seen that a lot over the past couple of years, and we've seen the Niners come out on top a lot in the past couple of years in that matchup. So it's usually pretty low scoring. We've seen the crazy weather up there in Lambeau, but obviously being out there in sunny Santa Clara, I like the over 50.5.
I like the over as well. I don't really have any other play on this game. It's gonna be
I
a
think you
good
could
one.
see I think you could see a defensive touchdown. I don't know which way, probably, but maybe by the Packers. Purdy throws a little duck up, and the Packers get a squeaky little touchdown. I wouldn't mind that, but I like the 50.5. I don't love the spread. Again, I just maybe tease the Packers up a little bit, but go also like maybe just wait. The Niners can go up at any point of this game, and you'll get the Packers at plus 10 or more. Or I guess it is already plus 10, 13, 14 or more, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of good stuff out of the Saturday slate for this divisional round. Let's move over to Sunday here, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern, not 4 p.m., 3 p.m.
I love when
Tampa
they
Bay
do this
Bucks.
on Sundays. I
So
love
dumb.
when they do this. No, I
Oh,
love
do
when they
you?
do this. Yeah, I hate the 8:30 game. I love when this night game starts at 6:30.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. Okay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions in Detroit. I guess it makes sense. It's central. Detroit Lions, the favorite here, 6.5 points, minus 275 on the money line, total 48.5. The Bucks 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 on the road, as well as 6-1 straight up in their last 7. Detroit 7-1 straight up in its last 8 games at home. The total's gone over in 4 out of Detroit's last 5 at home. Who wants to get us started here in this matchup here in Detroit?
I'll start us out here. I like the Lions. I've been on these lines the past couple of weeks. Mostly, everyone I know that they're like, "Who's your little kind of dark horse for the Super Bowl?" I kept saying Dolphins versus Lions, just two teams that I didn't really see either of them getting there. Kind of just trying to pick one of them. Dolphins looked like a pretty solid pick. Lions obviously still in the picture, so I'm going to ride the Lions. That's where my rooting interest is with my Steelers out of the playoffs. I'm rooting for this Dan Campbell led Detroit Lions team. 6.5 could be a little tight. This was one where I was maybe going to tease a rare chance where I tease a team down. I like the Lions at home to put up a lot of points. Obviously, Baker Mayfield last week looked really good against that Eagles defense. Eagles' passing defense isn't really much to brag about, especially the last couple of weeks. We saw that historic collapse that they just had, looking like my Steelers of 2020 with that crazy start and then the ultimate slide, losing the first round of the playoffs. But Mackie, I'll hand things off over to you. 6.5 points. I don't love 6.5, but I am on these lines. I like Goff over 1.5 touchdowns. That's another play I was looking at. Possibly another Gibbs touchdown. I keep taking that every week with these lines. I always find myself taking a lot of props. I know Ace would be on maybe a Laporta catches or yards. Which way are you going on this one? Bucks, Lions.
Yeah, I actually love the Bucks in this situation, plus the 6.5. I would say sprinkle money line, but I'm not going to play that. I think they have a not a great chance. I think they have a good chance of winning this game as well, coming in as 6.5 point underdogs. But um, this Lions team, I really like them. They've just played a lot of really close games this year. They don't win a lot of games for more than 6.5 points, no matter who they're playing. And this is very unfamiliar territory for them. None of them have ever been here before, except for Jared Goff. I know he's the best, or he's the most important player on the field for the Lions, but very unfamiliar territory for this entire team. The Bucks have been here before. Most of this team, not most of this team, a lot of this team has been on, or was on that championship roster. I like the way Baker Mayfield's been playing. He diced up that Eagles defense last week. Didn't even really need Mike Evans to do it. Chris Godwin, huge game. Trey Palmer, huge game. Um, this Bucks team's playing with a lot of confidence right now. I know they're home last week. Got to go up to Michigan this week. They're inside still, so it's not like they got to play in 5-degree weather. I like their chances to cover the 6.5
Did you see
points.
the reporter ask Todd Bowles about? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh my god!
Did he ask him about the weather and he said it's inside?
The reporter definitely thought she had something like going, and she answers. She starts her question. She's like, yada 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 with whatever newspaper, and she's like, "So Todd, you guys are going up to Michigan this week, sub-0 degrees up there. Are you guys doing anything different at practice? How are you going to get the guys ready to play in those conditions?" And he like looks around the room and he goes, "You do know they have a dome, right?"
That's so funny.
He goes, other than getting off the bus, they'll have to be outside for maybe 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah, right. They don't have to deal with all that with those weather conditions like Miami had to go into Kansas City and deal with that. So that's a plus for them. I think they keep it close at least. I think they cover the 6.5. Kind of being undervalued here in my opinion. They just blew out that Eagles team. I know the Eagles had a lot of problems as it was, but the big question was Tampa Bay's offense wasn't going to be able to go off, and they did go off. That's exactly what they did against a pretty good defense as well. So
you know what was kind of scary is that Rashad White didn't really do much.
yeah, and neither did Mike Evans. The big players didn't even do a lot, and they were still able to do that. And whose defense do you think is better, the Eagles' defense or the Lions' defense?
I'd probably lean the Lions just because they have more players that I'd be scared of. Like I like Hutchinson. I know Reddick's really good. I know Jalen Carter's really good, but I don't know. I think Hutchinson could have a big impact in this game. Sutton, obviously not the best corner, but I definitely think they're probably a better ranked passing defense if I had to guess than the Eagles.
I don't know. I was just
Yeah.
with the Eagles fall offs, I think the Lions have a slight edge on them. But before the fall off, I think the Eagles had a way better.
Oh yeah,
defense.
yeah. Just yeah.
Regardless, I think it's very similar defense. I think that the Bucks aren't going to have trouble scoring points. So they'll keep this one between in 6.5. I don't know. I feel like they're getting overlooked. You don't think Baker's getting overlooked here?
No, they're definitely getting overlooked. Yeah. I do you think this spread should be any less though?
I think it should probably be a 5-point spread. Anything below that, and you're like, all right, you're hammering the line. Everyone's like hammering the Lions.
I was gonna say there'd be 90% of the money on the lines if this was -4, -3.5.
Yeah, but I think that these teams are pretty equal, to be honest.
What's going on, everybody? Jesse from Hit the Books here. I want to tell you a little bit about Zencastr. We use Zencastr because it's the best solution for us to record our episodes each week with 4 of us in different locations. Coordination is hard, and Zencastr makes that easy. Like I said, it's so easy. It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Just log in with your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencastr's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Zencastr is an all-in-one platform. If you've thought about podcasting before and realized that you need a lot of different tools and services, those days are over. Zencastr is all-in-one podcasting platform. You can create a podcast all in one place and distribute to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other major destinations. If you're interested, go to Zencastr.com/pricing and use our code HITTHEBOOKS, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same experience, easy experience we do with all our podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Make sure to use our link in the description below or our offer code HITTHEBOOKS at Zencastr.com/pricing for 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. Lots of good stuff there, guys. Let's keep it moving here through Sunday to the Sunday night game, 6:30, Kansas City in Buffalo at the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills are our favorite here, -2.5. Their money line -144. The Chiefs money line at +122. The total at 45.5. Trends I have here: the total has gone under in 5 out of Kansas City's last 6 games when playing on the road against Buffalo. Kansas City 10-2 straight up in its last 12 on the road. Buffalo 5-0 straight up in its last 5, 6-1 straight up in its last 7 games at home. closest spread here of the week. Who wants to get us rolling on this matchup?
Mac, you want to start us out
Yeah,
here?
I kind of already voiced my opinion on this one. I think the Bills get it done. I think Josh Allen just having one of those seasons, and he's on his home field. He plays so much better on his home field. We all know that. Mahomes doesn't have the crowd behind him. I think that the Bills are playing better football. I think they're probably the better team as well, even without even with all the injuries that they've had this season. Um, this is their year. I think it's their year to come out of the AFC. I think. I wouldn't say the Super Bowl, but I think they get there. I think they're the better team. I think they're going to win this game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think they cover the spread. The 2.5. I'm going to take the Bills minus the 2.5. I don't love it, obviously going against Mahomes, but I think this game being in Buffalo, the what's at stake between these two quarterbacks. There's so much other than just this game. You look in the past. Josh
Josh has
Allen
got to
will beat
win
him so
one,
bad.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
He's
He's
got
got
to
to
win
win one
one.
of these. I hate to be like betting with that, like the feeling that like, oh, he's gonna win, like he's due to beat him in the playoffs. But we saw the Bills take them down in the regular season. Correct? Was that in Kansas City or was that in Buffalo?
No, the Bills did take him down in Kansas City.
Okay. Yeah, I like the Bills. I think the Bills. I think the Bills cover the 2.5 points at home. I think this is, like you said, a big game for Josh Allen. He wants to beat Mahomes more than anyone in the world. I think the Chiefs. They had a great game last weekend. That Dolphins team wasn't ready for the cold weather in those playoff, or in Kansas City for that playoff game. But I like the Bills. I think the Bills get the job done. I think James Cook has a big day on the ground. I like the Bills to come out on top.
It's gonna be hard to beat Pat Mahomes twice in one season.
Yeah, definitely. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, now I think he's gonna do it twice in 1 year.
Yeah, but nobody cares about the regular season one.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
ones don't count. And this is Josh Allen's best chance to beat Mahomes to date, probably for a while too.
I don't know. Just
That
remember how many guys got hurt on that Bills team.
yeah, I know, but that Chiefs team is just when you still have Mahomes, you're just gonna keep building around him. I mean, it
Yeah,
was kind of like Tom Brady. Like they had a few years where they
they
like
go
weren't
through the
that
they go through the
they
phases.
weren't
It's
that
like,
good, but then they'll be right back when they're able to build their team up right around that franchise quarterback. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's like you had the Randy Moss Patriots, and then you had the Gronk Patriots, and then
Yeah,
you had like the
exactly.
Edelman. Yeah,
But there was always like a year or two where they still made the playoffs. They were still really good. They just weren't
there
as
definitely was a
good, you
gap
know?
year where they didn't have that number one guy. Like Kelsey's
Yeah.
fallen off. He's still, I guess, he's the guy that you'd say, but like they'll find someone in the
Like
draft.
2019 to 2021, where I know they lost in 2020, but they obviously should have won. They were like incredible those 3 years. They're obviously not there anymore. They lost
Yeah,
Tyreek Hill. They lost a
Tyree,
lot of
like
that
Chris
defense.
Jones.
But I
They
mean
were all 4 years younger.
they'll be back. They'll be back there in a few years. You still have Pat Mahomes.
You think Travis Kelsey will ever play in another Super Bowl?
Ooh. Um.
That's
Yeah,
like
I
a
do.
trick question because if his brother retires and they lose in the playoffs this year and next year, I could see him retire.
His brother's also a center who's been doing a tush push for the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's why I think he's retiring.
His
I'd be like,
brain can't take it.
I'd be
He
like,
literally says,
my neck works. I'm out while it
you know,
works. And one of these
exactly.
days, his neck's just gonna snap on that play. You know it is.
Jason Kelsey hates that play, and if that doesn't tell you all it needs to about that play, then that's why they want to get rid of it. It's not because they're too dominant. Nobody cares about how dominant the play is, you fucking idiots. It's because it's damaging these linemen. I mean,
Did
the
you,
CTE is real. You're enhancing it by 100% doing that shit.
have you ever seen the video where they call the tush push and Kelsey goes fuck?
Yeah, he's like fuck, and then he's like I tell DeAndre Swift every time we're at the 1 yard line, like, you know what's coming.
Yeah.
He's like fuck my life. But
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
mean,
I
I don't know.
I could see that especially if he's still dating Taylor Swift. It's like fuck, get out of football while you can.
Yeah, but I think he definitely still wants more. He had a late what's the
Rise
word
to
I'm
his
looking for? Yeah, he had a late like peak,
peak.
you
Like
know.
yeah,
So I think he still wants a little more out of the game. I think he can definitely still get another Super Bowl, and you're still playing with Pat Mahomes. So, he might as well.
yeah. Like also, will he stick around as like a number 2 tight end like Tony Gonzalez did for like 2 years after he really showed up? You know what I mean?
I
Like
just pull a Gronk and like retire, and then when the Chiefs are
see, I think if
11-3, they
I think if I was one of those players that you're truly considered one of the top 3 at your position, once I get like 2 Super Bowls and people are already arguing that you're one of the best, I'd be like, fuck it, I'm out. Keep arguing about it. You'll never know the rest of the story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I mean, I feel like he's more in the game than like Gronk was. Like Gronk just was in it to make the money and for all the partying, like
Yeah.
the Super Bowls, and he got his Super Bowls and all that. But he didn't want to go to practice. He didn't want to train. So he was like, all right, I'll retire. And when Tom Brady's 11-3 in the
Yeah.
season and they need a tight end, I'll come back and I'll win a Super Bowl with them. But even though they didn't win that year, but I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Travis cares more, and he's all about the grind. And
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty, I'm curious about what you guys think. What's your ideal Super Bowl matchup here coming into this divisional round? I have some of the top ones here based on the
Wait,
odds.
Ideal is in,
ideal or
yeah, what I
as
Well,
want.
I guess
or
ideal in the
what
sense
you
of like what
think?
you think's
Let's
going to
do both.
happen with
What
the
do you
current
want
landscape.
and what do you think? Yeah.
Okay,
Let's
Yeah.
do both.
okay,
Let's
okay.
do both.
All right.
Go
Well, I
first.
want Texans Bucks. Not
We're
gonna
on
get that.
Texans Bucks is
That'd be
plus
awesome.
15,000.
Yeah, that's right around where it should be.
I
That'd
would
be
expect it
awesome.
to be higher. I guess there's only 8 teams.
There's only 8 teams. They're only gotta win 2 more
That
games.
is the highest.
But who I think it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be Bills Niners, and I think the Niners take it.
Bills Niners is in
Plus 800.
second place in the odds running, plus 390,
Obviously behind Ravens Niners, which is
plus 230.
Yeah.
Huff.
I want Lions Texans. I think it will be
Lions Texans plus 5,500.
5,500.
Yeah.
All right.
And what do you think?
I'm gonna go Lions Bills. I'm gonna be the one that doesn't pick the Niners or the Ravens. Mac,
Plus
you didn't pick the
1,200.
Ravens. See, I like those odds. That's like I could
Lions
sprinkle.
Bills. I mean, Lions probably just need one like really.
I'm
good win.
banking. In that situation, you're banking on the Packers to beat the Niners this weekend.
Not even. You can get a Lions win over that Niners team. You're just hoping.
No, I know, but I'm saying you want a divisional matchup
yeah.
in Detroit for the NFC Championship. Detroit would be buzzing for a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't know, dude. I don't. Yeah, 100%. But I don't know if the Lions would win that game. To be honest,
I know, because divisional matchup is almost even scarier. Yeah, but it's in Detroit. That's the only reason you'd rather play the Packers, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, Matt LaFleur against a team for the third time in a season, I'd be a little scared of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean those Texans, if they can get out of this with the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens still in it, and the Texans come out of that AFC, give CJ Stroud a Hall of Fame ballot right now.
Yeah, that's honestly that would be the greatest rookie season ever.
Incredible to get through Mahomes, Josh Allen, and MVP Lamar Jackson. Not get through them, but
I
beat 'em
wouldn't.
out.
I don't know. Do you think? Would you be absolutely shocked if the Texans won this game this weekend?
No, I would not be. I wouldn't be shocked if either of the 9.5-point underdogs won this game.
Yeah.
Do I expect it to happen or think it's going to happen? Absolutely not.
Do you think
but
either one of them win?
I don't think they do. I think I would. I don't even know who has a better opportunity. I really don't. I would say I guess the Texans have a better opportunity, but I think they're kind of even. I would not be surprised if either won, but I don't expect either one of them to.
Yeah,
I mean, Jordan Love just diced up that Cowboys defense. Why can't he do it again?
I think the Texans have a better chance just because of the cold weather in Baltimore. You could get a couple fumbles in that Baltimore running game. Maybe, yeah, I don't know.
Cold weather against that Baltimore defense, though. I mean,
yeah, that's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And this stuff, like rest versus rust, both of these teams could come out. Like the Ravens haven't played their true roster in 3 weeks. I'm like a person that's like, I don't know if that's a good thing every time.
It's not a good thing at all. I'm glad you brought that up. I like the Texans a lot more now.
Yeah. Same with the Niners. They haven't played in 3 weeks.
I don't think the Niners are going to be rusty. Niners are too good. They have too many weapons.
And it's nice out. It's nice out there.
And there's too many holes to fill where other people are going to slack off. Brock Purdy's not playing well. Okay, just give the ball to fucking Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Like Lamar hasn't played since before the Steelers went to Baltimore week 18.
Yeah, I think he can come out rusty. Texans first half will lock it in.
What is first half? Probably plus 6.5, 5.5?
No, it's probably 6, maybe 6.
Let me see. I got it pulled up right here. First
5.5.
Is it 5.5?
Yeah.
That's a good line. I'd want 6, but
I'd want 6 as well, and I can never buy a half point on the first half stuff.
I don't know.
You could maybe shot that closer, because if this goes to plus 10, you could probably get plus 6 first half.
You know, nice. I wouldn't even say that. I was gonna say a teaser opportunity, but I could see both these games getting out of hand too.
Yeah. Or one of them getting out of hand, and then the other one like covers.
Bucks plus 12.5 lock. You just gotta find
that I would tease. I would tease that with the Texans.
I just don't trust the Texans. I'd tease that with some over under. I'd have to find a good over under.
Texans.
Oh, that
Packers
Packers
over,
Niners over 44.5.
Yeah. Packers over, Texans plus, and Bucks. You could get Bucks at plus like 17, Texans at plus like 20.
I think
Yeah.
I'd kick Texans out of that though, because I could just see you
Yeah,
can't tell me you can't see a Ravens 25-point win though.
Oh, yeah, but I always get caught. That's how teasers get me. Always on the third leg, you get the extra, like, 4 points, and you're like, "There's no way they lose by 25."
Yeah. I like this. I like the 2-leg 6-point teaser. You get a -110. Give me that over Packers 44.5, and give me the Bucks plus 12.5. That's a lock. I might lock that in right now.
I definitely like that over. I'm taking that over straight at the 50.5. I might tease it as well.
Good opportunities here. What do you think about Texans Ravens over 37.5?
That's scary. What can you get the under at?
49.5.
I like the under with the
If
over.
we're talking 2-leg 6-point teasers.
Yeah, I like the under better with the over.
Like you said though, those two high-flying offenses, but
Yeah, but it's like it's cold rust. Yeah. Ravens truly could only score. Ravens have only, like I said, Ravens have only scored. I don't think they've scored more than 20 points in a Lamar Jackson playoff game.
How was his last game? His last game, they scored 56 points against the Dolphins. Okay, let's not look at that. Yeah, I don't know.
No recency. We don't do recency bias here.
That offense has there's just zero reason to look at that offense and not think they're going to put up 25 plus points.
That's why they go under and lose. Fuck the Ravens.
Fuck the Ravens. That's facts. The Ravens haters over here.
I'm really a Ravens and a Chiefs hater now. I'm just so sick of seeing the fucking Chiefs, honestly.
No, I'm not a Chiefs hater. I like Pat Mahomes. I really do.
I like Mahomes. I'm just so sick of seeing the Chiefs. Give me a different team in the Super Bowl. They made the AFC Championship 6 times in a row. Please fucking let
But
the
it's
Bills
cool
go.
when they're underdogs. Like when they're not favorited, like it's kind of cool.
It's kind of like sketchy.
It's
but
like fuck you, I'm still here.
Yeah. Oh no, you mean.
Even though we're not that good, I'm still fucking here.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm rooting for probably Bills. Like I said, I'd love Bills versus Texans AFC Championship. That'd be sick. And then I think the Texans would get mopped in the AFC Championship in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What do you think about the city of Cleveland if Baker Mayfield makes the Super Bowl?
That would be all time, dude. Just because another team I just hate. Obviously, being
Cleveland Browns would be in shambles. They would be in shambles. You'd have Addison jumping off high rises up there.
Yeah. I was talking to him last week, and I was like, I'm on the Browns this week, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna lose. Mackie bet us.
He tweeted at me, and I was like, "You should have." I'm acting like Bucky with Trent now. He's like, "Whoever's offering me the most to take their team, I'll take it." You know, it's an auction out here. If you really want it,
you would have paid me $100 to bet on the Texans.
Yeah, I'll do it. Listen, I'll do it. You gotta want it.
Yeah, that's good.
Alrighty, boys. Lots of good stuff there out of the divisional round and what we think is going to happen coming up into the Super Bowl. Don't forget about our live stream each and every Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, and our video for the Saturday games on Saturday morning, released probably around 9 a.m. Let's keep it moving here with some news out of the NFL. Starting out, Jason Kelce was all over social media this past week after the Phillies loss on Monday. It was said that he would be retiring, but he's came to light on his podcast Wednesday. It said he has not made that official. He will announce it when the time is right. What are your guys' thoughts on Jason Kelce's possible retirement here after this loss for the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday?
Yeah, I think the Eagles' window was a one-year opportunity. Obviously, last year they had the 10-point lead in the Super Bowl. Mahomes came back and stole that, snatched that one away, got his second ring. I just truly think this Eagles kind of dynasty that everyone thought was coming and never came is over. So I don't think that this team is that good. Obviously, they're going to be moving on from Sirianni. It looks like we'll get into the head coaching situations, but that's not for sure. Kelce saying he might come back, might not. Jesse, you said before the podcast you feel like that could just be like for him to get the official announcement on New Heights. I definitely could see that as well, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest Eagles fan. Definitely like Kelce as a guy around the league, but I just don't think this Eagles team is as good as everyone thought. You see the turmoil in the locker room. AJ Brown doesn't play. I think there's going to be a lot of shakeups in Philly this offseason. Swift, a free agent. Like, they have a lot of free agents.
Yeah, Eagles are definitely going to be looking at a bit of a different team next year. I think Jason Kelce's gone. I think he's just kind of dealing with all the emotions of playing his last football game, and he doesn't want to make any rash decisions. But I think him and his family have kind of been locked into this. I feel like he feels his mental health going. When you're a lineman, you're getting hit like that every single game. You're doing the tush push every game. You probably think about that a lot. Like, you probably pay a lot of attention to it, and I bet you he is paying a lot of attention to it. He's getting up there. He's been playing. What has he played? 8 years, something like that. 9 years.
I think even longer. Kelsey's been in the league, or his brother's been in the league 9 years with Kansas City. I
How
think
much
he's
older?
like 11.
Damn. Yeah, it's a lot of wear and tear on a big guy like that, on a lineman, center, taking those hard hits every game. Um, I think he's gonna. He's been saying it for a while. I think he's done, but he definitely just wants to wait it out and see how he feels for a few weeks, and then just make a final decision when he's ready.
Yeah, I think so too. I just think, yeah, I just think the Eagles aren't as good as everyone thought. He was kind of waiting to see.
But
Obviously, would
what?
have loved to go out on top, but this team's just not as good as they
But
thought.
like, what do you? Nobody was saying that 6 weeks ago.
No, I know. Yeah, they
Like,
literally
why?
look
Like,
like
what had? So they clearly are like the talent's there. The roster is obviously there. They definitely had the talent to go to the Super Bowl this year. I think there was a lot of internal problems. I think Jalen Hurts, a lot of players were getting sick of him. I don't know what it was. He was playing good football. They were all playing good football. It had to be a locker room issue, maybe um, because I saw
dude.
Goddard
When
got
this
mad at him last game. We know AJ Brown's frustrations he showed. I don't know. I think that there's something deeper going on there.
Dude, when this happened to the Steelers in 2020, when the Steelers started out 11-0, ended 0-5 or 0-6 or whatever it was, 1-5, whatever the
One
fuck
and
it was,
five,
and
you
lost
ended.
and got wiped by the Browns in the playoffs at home. It was like that was the year Juju was fucking dancing on logos and shit. It's like when you just have a total
People act
collapse,
up.
I immediately just look at like, okay, you have AJ Brown, your number one receiver, he's not happy. You have Jalen Hurts, he's not really arguing, but like you said, you have Goddard, AJ Brown, all these guys bitching at everyone on the sideline, and Sirianni, like ever since he did that, see ya in Kansas City,
Wait,
it's like
he waited to get into the tunnel to do it too.
yeah, that's the best part. It's like, well, ever since then, you guys are what 0-6 or 1-5, and you just lost in the first round of the
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Sirianni. I don't like.
I never liked Sirianni to begin with, to be honest.
Yeah, me either. I never thought he was the answer for the excuse me for them at all.
But yeah, I think they're definitely in shambles right now. They're going to see a different team next year. A lot of free agents, a lot of people moving around. But I mean, they're still the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is still a very good quarterback. I think that they hold on to him, they'll have a bright future as well.
You guys already talked about it a little bit, but the head coach firing scenarios here coming up. Cowboys, will they move on from McCarthy? Eagles and Sirianni. What are you guys thinking about these head coaches and these moves possibly happening?
If the Cowboys do not move on from McCarthy, I may boycott the season. I may boycott the season. I may have to do it because there's no point to get your hopes up. We just had the best season we have had since I have been born. There's no points to get your hopes up if you cannot get the job done in the playoffs. He's one of the worst play callers in the league. One of the worst play callers, maybe behind Nick Sirianni now after these last few games. I mean, these have been terrible, but he needs to go. We need somebody else. We need a Mike Vrabel. That's exactly what we need.
Do you think they're going to point the finger at the defensive coordinator Quinn and let McCarthy stay and fire Dan Quinn?
I think they should get rid of both of them.
Who's the offensive coordinator?
I don't know. McCarthy runs that offense because it was Kellen Moore last year, and they just butt heads the entire time. So I think it was I'm not really sure what his name was, but he was more of like a fill-in. I know McCarthy ran everything.
Yeah, I think Vrabel would be a great, obviously, defensive coach come in. That's exactly what you guys need. I mean, you had Dan Quinn, who was a pretty good coordinator, just like you said, didn't make any adjustments to come out and win
game
that
adjustments. He had a good scheme. He knew what he was doing going into it, but he didn't know how to adjust with those players.
And the craziest part is I think he coached himself out of a head coaching opportunity this offseason in that game.
100%. He was definitely up there for one of the
Seattle wanted him bad.
He even could have gone. He could have been our head coach.
Yeah.
He could have stayed in Dallas. I'm sure he wanted that. If he was offered it, he was definitely taking that.
Yeah.
But he's definitely, I mean, he's not getting offered Dallas right now.
Mm-mm.
But Jerry Jones said in the press game last year, right away, he said Mike McCarthy is not going anywhere. This year, they asked him about his coaching decision. He said, I don't know. Last time I talked to Mike, we were getting ready for the next few weeks. Now there is no next few weeks. So hopefully he comes to his senses and says Mike McCarthy's not the answer here. And he's got to go. I mean, this is the best roster we've had. This is the second best roster in the NFL. And they couldn't get out of the divisional round as 7.5-point favorites at home. Don't get me going. Don't.
Sounds like you're already going.
But I said it last year. I said, get rid of McCarthy. Right away, he was like, no. I really hope he makes a good decision this year.
If you don't get Vrabel, is there another coach that just got fired that you would take?
I would take Harbaugh. obviously I'm not gonna turn down Bill Belichick. I just don't think it would all work out.
Yeah.
Um, we could take
Yeah, I
we
saw something
could take
online
Becky
that
T from you guys.
yeah, that I could see him do that if he left, but obviously he said he's
I don't
staying.
think
So,
I don't think
yeah.
he'll leave, but I don't know who else do you think could fill in?
I was gonna say Carroll, but he didn't really get fired. He went up to like the front office.
I think he's staying in house.
Yeah, he's staying with Seattle. That's a thing. The core. I'm trying to think also the coordinators that are up for like jobs this year. The Lions. I think it's the offensive or defensive coordinator. I think it's the defensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn is up for one. They said he'll get interviews. Who else? Obviously, like you said, Vrabel, Harbaugh, Belichick. I truly think Belichick's going to go to Atlanta. They said that they interviewed
I
him
think
and
so too. I think
Harbaugh.
it's
I think
almost a done
Belichick's
deal.
lock in for Atlanta. Yeah. Um.
But they got to do something, right? Cowboys have to do something. They
Yeah.
cannot do nothing after what just happened.
Believe me, yeah. If that was the Steelers and if they kept the coach and that was the Steelers in that exact situation, I'd have. And if they run it back, like, yo, let's try it one more time. It's like, okay, how the fuck can you run it back and expect something different when you change nothing?
How many more years can you waste of this prime offense? Don't get me
Clearly,
wrong. I mean, Dak didn't have the best
Jerry
game.
Jones wants to win a Super Bowl before he's dead. I don't think he has that many years left.
I mean, he's already got 5, so I mean, he's not. But he definitely wants another one. It's the reason he's still there. But I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what he said. That's why he said he won't sell it, won't get rid of the team.
Well, maybe he should fucking get rid of it because he's not going to win another one.
Yeah, until he gets rid of it. Clearly, maybe the problem's up top.
I think it is. I think it is a lot to do with that because Jerry Jones wants too much power as owner, and as owner, you just need to listen to your GM. You need to listen to your coach. Let them make their decisions.
Like, you're the fucking owner with the money. Let the football guys make the football decisions.
You might have known what you were doing in 1987.
Yeah, I was gonna say in 1987. Yeah,
The game has changed.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
But
you might have been able to give some input back in the 80s, but
I saw this on Twitter, and it makes a really good point. Dak did not have the best game, but he threw 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 41 completions. He didn't have the best game, but he had a good game. When you make 1 or 2 mistakes throughout a game and you can't win a football game, how much is really put on the quarterback there? I mean, granted, he didn't get the job done yet again. How many times is he not going to get the job done? But he has to play a perfect game for them to even have a chance in games like this. It can't all be put on him.
yeah, and people are saying like move on from Dak. It's like, no,
come on, man, like
head coach.
Dak is not he's clearly not the problem. It's like I just can't wrap my head around people that say that. But
yeah, it's like there. Like, I could point it all like another one that obviously I don't think the coach is getting fired, but that I kind of was thinking about the other day. Just like one simple fix. Like, for you guys, it's the head coach. Another team that I was big on this year, Miami. I feel like Miami doesn't have a tight end. Do they? Am I blanking? Like, do they? Is it that Smythe guy? Like, why don't
they have a tight? Who's that white guy?
I think his last name's Smythe. Like, I've never seen him catch a ball. Like, I don't think he leaves the offensive line. Like, I think that's what the Dolphins need. Like, draft a tight
Darren
end.
Smythe. Yeah, Darren Smith. It's probably Smith, but
Yeah, you know what I mean. It smelled the Y and the E at the end.
Yeah,
throws you off.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the other thing I was thinking about with the Dolphins today. Totally irrelevant for the Cowboys, but I was like, I was like sitting there. I'm like, who the fuck is the Dolphins tight end?
Listen, Tua could use a tight end down the middle.
Literally, right down the middle.
He's a short guy. He needs to find the middle of the field a few times with Dalton Schultz or.
Do you imagine
Jake
if the Dolphins have Laporta this year?
Oh my God, yeah, that'd be. I mean, Laporta just another guy out of Iowa who just lights it up.
Yeah,
tight end. But
that's just the next guy out of Iowa. Just fucking take
it. Guy out of Iowa. They need a guy like Laporta though.
Yeah. Like an offensive that can catch the ball. You don't need even like Freiermuth would be so good on the Dolphins. And he'd actually probably get used
guy
a
like him. Guy like him.
Like Gesicki, when Gesicki was there, but it was like Fitzpatrick, wasn't it?
Gesicki's also not.
He was overrated.
Yeah, he's not a top 7 tight end. You need a top 7 tight end right now with the way the tight end position is going.
Yeah. Like, even like a young guy, like if they had like Kincaid, where you could be like,
Ferguson,
all right, he's
dude.
A
guy like Ferguson. Ferguson's coming onto the scene.
Yeah, and I think what's his name behind him is pretty good too.
Schoonmaker. Yeah, but he was also the backup last year.
Yeah.
I guess they had both of them, but he's been on the scene. It wasn't his first year.
Yeah. That's the one thing I was saying, because like you look at like Buffalo, you saw the resurrection of Dawson Knox just to come and kill the Steelers. Like, Everyone's game planning
He
for
still got it
Kincaid,
in him.
Kincaid, and they're like, no, we're just gonna give you a heavy dose of Dawson Knox
He still
to
got
start
it in
this
him.
game. Yeah. It's like tight ends truly change the fucking game. I don't know. You look at all these teams that are left; they have legit tight ends. Ravens are looking to get Mark Andrews back. Obviously, Texans. We all said Dalton Schultz going there wasn't going to be a huge thing. He had the touchdown, a huge game
We
against
also didn't
Cleveland last week.
we also didn't think CJ Stroud was going to
Yeah.
do this.
Yeah, but I remember saying I think he was going to be a good security blanket for CJ Stroud. Obviously, not
No,
saying
yeah,
they were going to
definitely.
go to
You
the
did.
playoffs,
You
but
did.
like you look at all these, even like the kid up in Green Bay, Musgrave. I think he's another young stud tight end. Like
Luke Musgrave.
yeah.
Yeah, he's good
And
as well.
obviously Kittle,
Kittle.
and then who are the other team? Laporta and Cade Otton's probably the worst tight end left.
Cade Otton had a great game last
I know,
week,
but he's probably the worst tight end left.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, who's going in Baltimore right now?
Likely. I like Isaiah Likely.
He's not a tight end. Isaiah Likely's like 5'9".
He's a tight end. He's the backup tight end. Number 80?
Yeah, Isaiah Likely is tiny, bro.
No, dude,
There's
he's
no
a
way
tight
he's a
end.
tight end.
Yes. I use my fantasy tight end.
Dude, how is he?
I'll look up his height weight. Isaiah Likely, Ravens height
Holy
weight.
shit!
6'4", 240.
Why does he look tiny out there? Every time I see him out there, I feel like he's scurrying around.
Yeah, no, he's the tight end for them right now. Who would you take, him or Otton?
Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely's been going off.
Yeah,
But
Lamar
it could also be
Lamar.
Lamar. I cannot believe he's a tight end. I literally pictured him as like a tiny little like
a Zay Flowers receiver.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, he's the backup tight end.
Wow, news to me.
Like when Andrews is in and they play two tight ends, he's the down tight end. Like he helps block.
Right.
Andrews goes out for passes.
But yeah, definitely all of these teams have loaded up tight ends.
And like all the teams that you look at, all the teams that lost, obviously Dolphins. Like there's too many that lost, but like yeah, there other teams like you can just easily point to something. Steelers quarterback. Like I could point to one thing on every team that lost and be like, give me a GM job. I could try to fix things in 6 months.
Yeah, and then they give you a salary cap, and you're like, oh,
yeah, fuck.
This fucks everything.
It doesn't
up.
work like Madden where you can just turn it off.
I'm going to the MLB.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for the NFL, though. Big weekend, 4 games, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday. Like I said, I love when they do the 3 o'clock, 6:30. That's amazing. Yeah, Chiefs Bills. Actually be able to watch that full game, not have to stay up till midnight. That'll be a good one.
Should be good.
You know it. Let's move over to the NBA here with the power rankings for this week. Number 5, the Philadelphia 76ers. Number 4, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And number 1, the Boston Celtics here coming into this week. What are you guys thinking about these power rankings?
Sixers are fucking good. They really are.
Yeah, I mean, Joel Embiid, just incredible. Huge game last night, beating the defending champ Denver Nuggets. Him and Jokic both went off, but I mean, Jokic on his home floor, he doesn't lose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's it's Nuggets easily could be that 5 team. Obviously, with the recency bias of last night, the Sixers obviously without Embiid, those couple of games they picked up a couple of big wins. And then you see what Embiid has done in the lineup. It's just like you said last night. What did he have? I'm pulling up the stat line right now because I wanted to see it.
He had,
41, 10 assists and 7 rebounds. Jokic went for 25, 19, and 3.
It's ridiculous. What a heavy such a powerhouse teams just going at it. You love to see it. Both big guys putting up the big numbers. Home team takes it.
I was gonna say I thought Jamal Murray wasn't supposed to play in this game. Maybe I saw something wrong then.
But one team I see really bursting on the scene, and I know they had a tough start, but with the addition of James Harden and him just playing so well, the Clippers. I'm really bought in on this Clippers team. They've been playing really good basketball. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They get the big wins. Huge win over the Thunder the other night.
Yep.
You have Kawhi Leonard on your team. You're always a competitor, and then you just have like when Paul George gets it going. I know playoff P. I know how he is in the playoffs, but now
they're so good in the regular season. Just rot him in the regular season, then we'll worry about that.
Dude, I really want to look into a future for them. I think they have really good chance.
I think that was one of the teams I picked out of the West, not knowing they were getting Harden, but they definitely have some value on them. Especially definitely dropped.
You have James Harden nearly playing like he was in Houston. He, obviously, just not with the usage because you have the other two on the team. Yeah, but he's literally playing to that level right now. And when you have these other two players, when you have Kawhi, that's a two-way player like Kawhi, this team they may not be stopped. they're playing to their potential, they may not be stopped.
Yeah,
Steve Ball
I
Steve
definitely
Ballmer has
agree.
been waiting for this.
Yeah. Did they get their new arena next year?
It's like it looks pretty done, so I'm assuming next year, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything on it.
That place looks crazy.
It looks massive. Steve Ballmer paid out of pocket.
Remember him screaming about the toilets?
Gonna be a toilet in every inch of this place.
Yeah. 'Cause we're
Did you
gonna
guys get
have more
lines.
toilets.
No lines. No
Yeah.
lines. He's
Did you
funny,
guys get
bro.
to this Pacers point?
No, we did not. If you want to read
Okay.
it off.
This next one here at the NBA, the Indiana Pacers have acquired forward Pascal
Siakam.
Siakam. Pascal Siakam from the Toronto Raptors. The Pacers' new core will consist of Halliburton, Siakam, and Turner. Get them going here for throughout this season. What are you guys thinking here coming out of the Indiana Pacers world?
I think this is a pretty interesting young team. Obviously, Halliburton had gave them all the excitement in the beginning of the year. They go to that in-season tournament final, which now feels like it was a year ago. But you know, this is still a young team that's going to compete in the East. They're still a fun team to watch night in and night out. I don't know exactly where they stand in the standings right now. I'm going to pull this back up and take a look.
They're in this. They're in that 6th spot in the East. Them and the
Okay,
Knicks
that's
are
kind of where I
tied.
expected them to sit, right either right in or in the play-in tournament. Sitting, I don't think they're a top 5 team in the East, but also Miami has been turning it on of late. They started out kind of cold to start the season, but another one that's been pretty good is Cleveland. I didn't realize Cleveland was 20, 23
The
and
East.
15.
The East is heating up. It used to be top 3 teams. They were the top. They were always top 3: Celtics, Bucks, Sixers. I think a lot of these teams can compete now. The Knicks even. Jalen Brunson's been playing incredible basketball, and they're sitting in the 7 seed right now because I think those 6 teams honestly are better than them. But the fact that the Knicks are a 7 seed says a lot about this Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I was surprised to see you guys like kind of keep winning games. I mean, you guys have been kind of going back and forth, but you went on a little stretch there. Really sent. When did you guys trade Barrett and quickly? Is that 2 weeks ago?
7 games ago, probably. So yeah, right around 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more of a fall off there, but I don't know.
Anunoby brought the defense to the team. I mean, dude, RJ Barrett was kind of an anchor for this Knicks team. He's doing really well in Toronto, but
He's doing good for the Raptors.
he
They're
just
fun to watch.
wasn't fitting. Quickly was the big loss, but I mean, Anunoby's coming in. He's playing really good defense. Players are stepping up to the scene. Miles McBride out of West Virginia. He's huge role on that Knicks team. He's stepping up. So the bench is playing a little better, but they started 5-0 after that trade.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right
this
now. Timberwolves, Bulls, Sixers, Wizards, Blazers.
yeah, and
You lost to the Mavericks,
and
and
they
then you beat
lost
the
to the
Grizzlies, and
Mavs.
then you just lost to the
Yeah,
Magic.
back to reality. But going back to this Siakam trade. I like that core with Halliburton. Obviously, you have Miles Turner under the rim, and then you have Siakam to play. Those 2 bigs right there, Siakam and if Siakam
Even
played
put
at the 4.
Siakam at the 3.
Yeah,
You
you
know
can
what I
put him
mean?
at the 3, you can put him at the 4. Then you have, like, Buddy Hield, like, you have these guys, Benedict Mathurin,
That's what
Aaron
that would be
Aaron
my starting
Nesmith,
lineup. 1,
like,
2,
you
3,
have
4.
TJ McConnell, like, you have these support guys. This Pacers team could be good, and they need a defense. Now you have 2 big guys underneath. If you wanna use Siakam at the 4, you can also put him at the 3, but, a lot of defense brought to this team. I think that they can probably be competitors, maybe win a round in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I like this
that
trade.
would be my starting 5 for them. Halliburton, Hield, Siakam, Mathurin, Turner.
Yeah, it's a perfect starting 5. You just gotta build that bench a little. It's all
Yeah.
scoring, no defense.
Your bench goes, like, straight to, like, McConnell, 6-man.
McConnell and then Aaron Nesmith.
Yeah, I forget, and
Um,
then, obviously, I don't know if they got anyone else in this trade or if they
they
got rid of
didn't. It
anyone in
was
this
it was
trade.
1 for 3. I think it was 3 first-round picks, like, straight
Okay.
up, which might be dude, I think these these NBA trades are crazy. Did you see that
They go for way too many picks, dude.
bro, it's 3 first-round picks is crazy. Did you see McCall Bridges was people offered Brooklyn 4 first-round picks for McCall Bridges straight up. Holy shit. Granted, he's been playing really good basketball, and he is a rising star. He's gonna be very good in the next few years. But 4 first-round picks is crazy for an investment.
I would take my chances to hit on any one of those 4 first-round picks than trade 4.
Especially if you're like if your team's that bad and you're trading 4 first-round picks, like you're gonna have a good pick coming up. Just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think the first rounders are crazy. You don't see like shit like that in the NFL. You see a lot of second, third later rounds. But obviously the NBA
NBA
only has
also like they
only
use
have
it's
2
obviously the
rounds.
biggest free agency league. Like they bounce around in free agency more than any other league.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But the NBA is also only 2 rounds, only 60 picks. So I understand like the first rounds
Like the
aren't as
percentage of guys
valuable.
that get drafted, I don't even know. I couldn't name someone right now other than like Jokic or like Devin Booker.
Jokic got drafted.
No, I'm saying that like got drafted. Okay, I guess Jokic and Giannis got drafted by the team that they're on and won a ring on. Like, will they stay there their whole career? NBA, like I feel like no one
Giannis
stays
will
one
not.
team.
Jokic probably will because he doesn't care enough to like relocate and go
Yeah, I
find
think
better.
Jokic truly will be a Nugget forever.
Yeah, I think he'll have a short career too, which is gonna it's really gonna take a toll on his all-time ranking. But
Again, another thing
I'm
he
not
doesn't
gonna
give
get
a
into
flying
I'm
fuck
not gonna
about.
get into that right now. But yeah, he another thing he doesn't care about. But that's gonna be huge towards his all-time ranking. I think he only plays another probably like 6 years.
I could see that. I could see him get like 2 more rings in the next
He does
5
not
years and
care.
just be like,
He does not care enough to have an 18-year career. He doesn't.
nah.
Get in, get out, make your money. He's never gonna have to. He's gonna be the most fucking famous person in Serbia forever. Um, I don't think he wants much more. He's got a lot.
Yeah, he just wants to
Boy's
go
got
home
his
and bet on.
horses and he's good to go.
Exactly. He's got his horses.
You think he bets on horses or rides them?
I think he does both. I think he owns a few.
Yeah, I mean, he probably owns it. So, I mean, that's a big enough bet in itself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's the one racing.
Right.
Does the owner of the horse get money? That's like a stupid question,
Bro,
but like,
yeah. Oh my
what's the
god.
percentage? Like, what
Like
do I get?
Millions.
if you win the Kentucky Derby, I think it's like
No, I
4.
know like the Kentucky Derby they win, but obviously you guys don't know like Serbia. But like I'm saying, like a basic like horse race, like at your local casino, like that actually does like the live horse races. You know what I'm talking about?
I have
Purse is
one.
probably a
Yeah,
couple hundred
yeah.
grand.
Really? Still?
Not on the ones that go at like random times, but like the
Okay, no,
scheduled.
but like, are there actually like? I know there's like. Okay, I know what you're
Like
saying.
there's horse racing 2 hours north that my friends go to. It's just like
Right.
called
Yeah, that's what I'm
Saratoga
talking about.
Racetrack.
Like that.
But they're
Saratoga, yeah.
scheduled like it's like
Yeah,
people
that's-
go like for these races, definitely a couple hundred grand.
Damn. Yeah, I knew they won, but I guess I was like, I don't know if it's like it depends on the odds of the horse, or do they all get the same? You know what I mean? Like if my horse is 32-1 and yours is 4-1, like do
No,
I
it
get the
doesn't
same
matter.
payout as
Doesn't
you?
matter. It doesn't
No,
matter.
no.
It's because you're not betting on the actual like race. You're betting on your horse.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
a grand prize for winning like the Kentucky
For
Derby.
winning the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So whoever won, Churchill Downs owner won 3.1 million from the Kentucky Derby.
Probably that Baffert guy.
The jockey gets something from that. And like,
Jockey
it's
obviously gets
different.
yeah, but I mean,
Whatever the deal is with them.
Jockey's not getting.
And the jockey's probably like when a golfer has to pay his caddy 5%. They're probably like, "Here, bitch. Here's your
the
50
same shit.
grand."
Probably the same shit. Just go out there, find the smallest guy that weighs the least, and then throw him on the back of a horse.
Like, yeah, here you want 5% when we win.
How much do you weigh? Starve yourself for 2 weeks, and you're
Yeah. They probably find like wrestlers that can cut weight, like
yeah,
cut like
for
20
sure.
pounds in
They
2
want
weeks.
them as tiny as possible on the back of that horse.
The jockey that won this year took 10%.
All right, that's about literally the same as caddy. I think
300,000.
caddies get 10.
It's
Some obviously tips
300,000.
you can't account for tips, but like
Could you imagine $300,000 for slapping the back of a horse?
the stick or whatever they use.
I think we should get into horse racing.
Yeah, there's a lot of money there.
We
A
should
lot of
buy
money
a-
to, a lot of money to
I know,
lose
guy.
there.
Huff, you know, guy.
Yeah, that would be crazy. We should buy a horse. You ever
should
see that
buy a
video of this? You ever see that video of those frat kids that did that? They bought a horse and it won an event and they won like a shit ton of money on it.
Jeez.
Just
Where
feeding
we
it
feed the
fucking-
horse? I mean,
just
I'm
feeding it
down. But
Tren and fucking ketamine the entire time.
It lived in the frat house.
Alrighty, boys, let's finish out the episode here with the NHL, our power rankings for this week. Number 5, Mackey's New York Rangers. Number 4, the Colorado Avalanche. Number 3, the Boston Bruins. Number 2, the Vancouver Canucks. And number 1, the Winnipeg Jets. What do you guys think about this list here coming out of this week for the NHL?
Yeah, the Rangers falling off a bit. Definitely not at the top of this list anymore like they've been for the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. But still good enough to be in that top 5. The Jets have stormed onto the scene. I think they won 9 in a row. Connor Hellebuyck playing incredible. That team's just putting up points left and right. Obviously, the Vancouver Canucks. They had 5 people make the All-Star game. So many superstars in that team. But yeah, I mean these probably the 5 most deserving teams. See the Panthers kind of coming close, on the right down the probably in that 6th seed right now. But Huff, what do you think
Yeah.
about this?
Yeah, obviously, I think the top five's definitely solid. There's a lot of those bubble teams. The hottest team in hockey right now, we've seen the Oilers win 11 straight. If they didn't start so shitty, you definitely could see McDavid and the Oilers up there. I'm big on Toronto. I think they just keep losing games that they don't really need to. I keep saying the Carolina Hurricanes are going to take that next step, but they just haven't. So I do like our top five. I'm not huge on Florida this year personally. I just don't think that they didn't change that roster enough for my liking for them to. I know they did go to the Cup final and lose in 5 or 6 games to Vegas, but
Yeah, but
I
that was just a run that they went on. I don't really think that they were one of the top teams in the league last year.
exactly, yeah. I personally just don't think that they're that team in the top. What here? Wait, let me filter. It's just to the East. I didn't realize I have it by the league. So they're third, yeah, third in the East. Like they don't scare me like third in the East. Same way the Flyers don't. At 4, Flyers have been playing pretty good hockey as well, though. But
But yeah, they don't
uh,
scare you at all.
yeah,
Yeah,
no. They don't scare me. I think Carolina, I think Toronto comes back up to light, and that could be your top 4 teams in the East there.
for sure.
But yeah, I mean that's definitely a solid list. The Penguins playing some pretty good hockey and not going to go crazy and throw us in there yet, but we're playing better. We're 4th in the division now. Passed up the
Getting wins.
Caps, passed up the Devils. Got to keep winning games. We have a
Tight
big game
race down
Saturday
there.
against Vegas. That's a tough matchup, but yeah, the second tier of the Metro division is so tight. Every night you're
Sit
dropping or
right
gaining.
there. Everyone's right there. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna be tight for 82 or for 42 more games, but I mean, all these teams are gonna be right there. I think the Lightning kind of take a stride ahead of the rest of the teams. I think it's gonna be between you guys, the Red Wings. Caps are playing pretty good hockey as well. Isles, Devils. I think the Isles will fall off, but those Devils, I mean, you always gotta watch out for them as well.
I feel like I've been waiting. Like I love the Red Wings, and I always say that they're going to get in that year. Like this is the year that they're going to get in. This year they're going to get in. This is the year where the East is so deep. I can see them get bounced again.
Who, the Red Wings?
Yeah,
For sure, for sure. But I mean, you got to assume the Lightning are one of those teams, or if not them, the Leafs are one of those teams in that first wild card. So it kind of only leaves one spot open.
like right now, I think the Flyers are more of a legit team than the Red Wings as of the past couple of weeks.
Well, the Flyers are one of the best teams in the league right now.
I know, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and the Flyers don't scare me at all going into the playoffs.
There's also that's a good point because there's probably going to be. I don't think the Flyers keep this pace. There's another spot open in that top 3 in the Metro. Flyers jump out. Those top 2 teams ahead of you are both the Atlantic teams. So
Yeah,
between you guys, Caps, Devils can get that last spot. But if you can get a spot in that final spot in the Metro, top 3, then you guys can be in good shape.
we have the exact same record as the Caps right now. 21, 15, and 6, 48 points.
Yeah, it just matters where you go from here. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, I think you guys have the better roster. If you guys fall off a bit, I think that could open the door for Jake Gensel. I really want Jake Gensel, to be honest, but I kind of hope you guys fall off. But at the end of the day, if you guys are resigning him anyway, I'm kind of rooting for you guys over those fucking shitty Caps.
Yeah, I don't know. Flyers don't scare Carolina. Like we're always waiting on them to take that next step. I know I'm bigger on them than you are, but like, do you think they could slip it all, or you think they're a true top
No,
3
they're
team in that
if
Metro?
anything, they'll find that one spot over the Rangers. The Rangers keep sliding like this, but
Yeah.
then again, when they get to the playoffs, I'm not scared of this Carolina team. I mean, I know
Mhm.
they made it to the conference finals last year. I think that was the first year they've actually made it that far. They always got bounced in the second round, but they swept
I
the
think that was
Devils
the
last.
first year they made it since the year the Penguins swept them. Every year they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think 3 times in the past. So many times they've gotten swept every time.
Yeah, they can't get the job done at the end of the day, and they have a good coach, Rod Brindamore, as well. But they have the players. I mean, they just can't get over that hump. It's kind of like that Caps team.
He
Who
weirdly
actually
reminds me of Vrabel. Totally unrelated. Every time I see them, he like
is
kind
that
of
your
reminds me of Vrabel.
is that your comparison? Your NFL comparison?
Yeah, that's who I would say. Just like looks and kind of the way they like talk and coach. Like they're like the tough guy that played. You know, you're like the hard ass. Like, oh, I was the
Yeah,
tough guy in the
yeah.
league, and yeah, I don't know. They just kind of
Now I'm
remind me of
coaching
each
you
other.
chumps.
Yeah, yeah. Now I'm stuck here with you fuckers. That kind of coach.
Yeah, no, I'm big on
Well,
Rod
buddy, you
Brindamore as
signed the
well, but
contract for 10 million a year.
but yeah, it's gonna be a nice second half to the season. I think a lot of these teams are gonna make big
When's
jumps.
All Star?
Got to be coming up. I think that it's usually around like 52 games. Where is it this year?
I think it's Toronto. Did you see the? I think it's the same weekend as the Pro Bowl because they don't
Yeah, I
want to
think you're
compete
right.
with the NFL playoffs.
Right, so we got 3 weeks on that. 3 weeks on that.
One
Yeah,
more point here.
2 more weekends, like this weekend, next weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, should be a good stretch. Rangers got to keep pace.
One more point out of the NHL here. Joe Thornton will get his number retired by the San Jose Sharks next season. Number 19 will head to the rafters after 15 years with the club, as well as a few others. Pretty good thing there. That's the second number that the Sharks have ever retired. Patrick Marleau the other year, and Joe Thornton here the next year. So pretty good stuff for him.
Congrats, Joe Thornton.
That team has fallen off so hard instead
Zero,
of playing us in the cup.
zero
big time.
cups.
Yeah, like here's I'll say this. Last night I bet on the who was it? Blackhawks over the Sharks.
Was that
And
Antiniemi in net when you guys played them?
yeah.
That team
And
has come
who was the
so
other
far.
goalie? It was Niemi and Martin Jones was their backup who would play every once in a while.
Jesus Christ! Wow, that's crazy.
That was like the Brent Burns, Couture,
Obviously,
Pavelski.
Pavelski,
Yeah.
Thornton.
That Sharks team was definitely sick.
They were
That was just
good,
such a
yeah,
weird
but
cup final. Us versus Sharks. I remember that. But
that's
yeah, I don't know.
definitely.
They have sick uniforms. Have
You
you
guys
seen
are.
their uniforms this year? That's what I was gonna say.
No, I haven't really watched a lot of the Sharks.
They
But you
kind of
guys
like
are.
updated their uniforms. Look at their new ones. Their new ones when they wear the all teal is pretty sick.
Let me look it up.
It's pretty clean. Or just like if you look at the score from last night, you'll probably see like a couple of the pictures of it. Like they were wearing them last night. I don't know why. Or no, maybe they were wearing white last night. They were in Chicago. I don't know why I said that.
Jersey.
They're pretty sick.
Oh yeah, they just look like cleaner now.
Yeah, they put like the logo on the shoulder. You know what I mean? They look a lot
yeah.
cooler.
These look pretty dope. I like the Sharks as an organization. They just fucking suck.
Yeah, they're just terrible. But yeah, that's really it.
Is that all we got?
That is all we got here this week. Make sure to tune in on Sunday for our live stream on YouTube and Rumble, 10 a.m. Eastern. This week will be a light week, but lots to look forward to as we get into the divisional round here on Saturday. That's about all I got. Anything else to add, boys?
No, I think it's gonna do it. Like per usual, make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow the whole 9 yards. We really appreciate it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys on Sunday for the divisional round live stream.
Yes, sir.